Hello and welcome to yet another episode of MoneyPetrol Talks. Today's topic is a very hot talking point on OTP process being phased out of UAE banks. There has been a recent mandate on the entire process for the betterment of the entire banking experience. Now, to talk more about the entire process of how OTPs will be taken out slowly and gradually out of the system, we have Ravikiran with us. Hello, Ravi. Let me have a very quick introduction of Ravi. Ravi has been in the digital banking space for a very long time and is an ex-banker by profession and now also into digital innovations. Ravi, can we start a conversation on the OTP? So let's know what is the central bank's mandate on the entire OTP phasing out process?
Yeah, this was long coming, and there's a mandate from central bank that the banks have to start phasing out OTPs as a security measure for two-factor authentication. And from July 25th onwards, the banks have to start the process. And I think there's a deadline of March and 2026. So the next 6 to 8 months, this whole thing has to be phased out. So that's the mandate from central bank.
So, OTPs have been a part of everybody's life so far.
True.
When it comes to digital banking. True. People were really feeling very secure with the OTPs coming, and we all know that we can do transactions very easily and safely using the OTPs because that's just known to us.
True.
Now, with the OTP process being phased out slowly and gradually, how it is going to impact the entire customer service experience, as well as what are its impact on the speed of the entire digital banking process?
Yeah. Let me start off when before we had the mobile apps itself, there was a lot of customer behavior change that comes into internet banking to digital banking. And when we say digital banking, the apps specifically played a lot of very important role. And somewhere around 2008, 2010 onwards, when the mobile apps came into picture, we had not more than 10-15% of the customers using it. So at that time, also there were a lot of queries on will customers, will it change their behavior? Will they accept it? Ultimately, it happened. So here also now OTPs have been a part and parcel, like you said, of the normal banking life of a person here for the last 15 plus years, right? And the number of OTPs, you'll be surprised when take a guess how many OTPs are sent per day. In maybe 100,000 or something, millions. Million plus OTPs are sent per day in UAE
From one bank?
No, per bank, even less than that. But overall, more than, I'm talking of numbers which is more than 5-6 years old. But over a million OTPs are being sent per day. So customers were very used to, they got used to the OTP process. But then the security part of it, there's a lot of frauds taking place. And I think that's where the central bank got cognitive about it, and they saw that we need some even more secure process for the whole thing. And that's when they've taken this course, and that now there should be something more secure than an OTP. So I would like to first try and tell you about what is an OTP and why is it being used, and what is the various factors of authentication. There's something called three-factor authentication for any transaction that you do, any secure transaction or a fund transfer that you want to do. So you have a single factor authentication, you have two-factor authentication, and you have three-factor authentication. So basically what it means is one factor would be something that something like your password or a code, PIN that you already know. ATM PIN is a one factor. So there's something and there's also something that you have, your number. If you have there used to be something called dongle, a secure token. Actually, a physical thing, it keeps changing numbers. That is a secure, it is a physical part of it. So that is something that you have. The last one is something that you are, that is biometric. It is you, as in your fingerprint, your facial scan, which is now in vogue here, or it could also be your voice. Voice print is another very secure biometric. So single factor is I log into my email ID because I know the password. So that is a single factor. And a password plus an OTP or password plus a dongle is a two-factor. The third factor is password, SMS OTP plus a biometric. So there's always a fine balance between security and convenience or customer experience. If you want the whole process to be very secure, you're doing down a little bit on the customer experience side. But if you want to balance customer experience, then you have to there's a fine balance there. So banks now are taking security to the highest priority. So that's where this whole thing comes into picture. So OTPs have been used, or there's a lot of frauds that are happening wherein people could easily get the OTP of the customer via various methods. I mean, again, that's another whole topic for another day. But SMS phishing or smishing, what they call, I can loop you into giving me an OTP. That's what's happened with a lot of customers where, they send simple emails or messages saying that, your Aramix package is stuck here. So we will call you, or somebody calls and just says, our RMS package is stuck. I will send you an OTP. Just please give the OTP to it. And a lot of people fall for it. Unfortunately, that's another thing, awareness from customer side. So if the customer is, sorry to use the word, dumb enough to fall for this kind of things, the OTP is given and he uses that because he already knows your user ID, somebody has got through, or he knows your email ID. So he has got through some of your, what we call as PII, personally identifiable data, personal identifiable identification data, or personally identified PII, personally identified information. So PII, yeah. So if I get the 1 or 2, 3 factors of the PII, I will try and get categorized by acting as if I'm either an Aramix guy or even a bank staff. That's why all the banks send SMSs which say, please don't share your OTP. No bank will ask you. Our staff will not ask you for the OTP. Please don't share. That's why every time you get a standard SMS. In fact, 5-6 years back, I think the central bank had mandated saying that please send this on a weekly basis to every customer, that message. Please don't share your OTP. Unfortunately, people are still sharing. People are still falling for it. So now, when they say digital banking without OTP, that whole process is they're trying to use a secure thing that is already available with you, which is a mobile app. So mobile app itself will have a notification area where for any transaction you get a notification on the app and you need to approve or reject on your app. The app is already a secure thing which is there with you. You have downloaded it. It's tied to your mobile. It is your mobile number is linked to it, and your people are using the mobile app with their fingerprints now. So you have even your fingerprint taken care of in the mobile app. So that's the most secure thing for an online transaction. So what's happening right now? I use my credit card, assuming on Amazon.com or some online website. The screen clearly says, please put your OTP. So and I get an OTP and I put it there. Now that OTP via SMS, that OTP will be sent, or either an OTP or I will get a message on the app saying that you have done this transaction, you will like to approve or reject. So now banks are doing it in a phase where, all the banks are still not ready to change the whole thing in one go, right? That's the reason the central bank has given them time till March 2026. So they first see based on the risk, something we call RBA, risk-based authentication. So they will see what sort of transactions, which geographical region transactions. So any UAE transaction should go through without any issues. If it is a bank, for example, XYZ bank, if I am trying to send money to another beneficiary of XYZ bank, it will not ask for an OTP. Of course, each bank has got its own decisions, but depending on these kind of factors, who am I transferring, how much am I transferring, how frequently am I transferring, something called the RFM, recency, frequency, and monetary value of the transaction. Based on all this, the decision from the bank is taken whether to send the particular message on the mobile app to approve or reject or not. This is where even AI comes in. So AI will come in and play a big role to understand what sort of transactions happening, what sort of customer it sees over 500 parameters to take a decision on whether this transaction is secure to be allowed or not.
So, Ravikiran, for an easy understanding of our viewers, now with this revolutionary step taken by the central bank and followed by many other banks in the UAE, now I want to know whether a big clampdown is coming for the fraudsters and the scammers.
Yes, that's the idea, though. That's the whole idea. Trying to reduce the amount of frauds will never stop. That's the interesting thing of the whole cyber security part, right?
Sorry to bother, but anything interesting that you can mention as a fraud which people should be aware of?
I cannot name any. Yeah, I can give you examples by just saying XYZ banks. Yeah, and there are on a daily basis, you have customers who get calls saying that I'm calling from so and so bank. Your Emirates ID was expired. So in order to activate your bank account will be frozen in the next couple of hours or frozen in the next half an hour. They also bring in this urgency in the whole talk. So this has happened multiple times, and maybe on a daily basis this happens. So they also very clearly they get this database of the customers and who to call, right? So they call her and say, you know what, your Emirates ID is frozen in the bank, so your account is going to be also frozen. So if you want to enable it and if you don't want us to block your account, we're going to send you an OTP. Prior to that, he's already got the mobile app downloaded and he's also got some sort of SIM swap transaction which is already done to change the number, and he's got the customer's mobile number. He only wants to get the OTP now. So he says, I'm going to send you this OTP. Can you? And the customers fall for it because of the urgency that sounds, and some they fall for it. And this happened multiple times in one of the banks he was working for. And the customer is given the OTP, instantly transactions, I mean, one transaction goes through. And we say, okay, I'm sending another OTP, or we have done one step, so we need 2 more steps, so I'm sending another OTP. And it all happened within minutes. So the customer gets this, and this happened. And after it's over, the next day, customer realizes that there have been 4 debits. He's seeing the SMS which has gone there. They don't see the SMS which comes immediately saying that your account is debited, right? They see the next day morning, some by XYZ bank's SMS has come. And they call the contact center and say, you know what, I don't know this transaction, I haven't done this. Fortunately, there is a process, there's a proper process to follow in such cases. So the bank follows that process and tries to register. They have to do a police complaint and they have to register the whole thing. The customer, if it is proven that it is the bank's mistake, right, the bank has done, or technically the bank is to blame, then the customer gets the money back in. But in many cases, it is most of the time the customer's mistake, and he or she has actually given that. And in another interesting case, the customer himself has colluded with the fraudster. He knows that he will get the money back, or he is very sure that he's going to get the money back from the bank, because the bank has got its own security or insurance security in place. So they got some insurance will cover this up, and he acted as if he's defrauded. But then after a couple of months of investigations, he realized that this guy is not so saintly as a customer, and ultimately it was proven that it is, and then separately the bank has taken a legal action against the customer. So like this, there are so many cases, and at least around 300-400 cases of such frauds happening is on a daily basis in UAE. So that's the reason this whole thing has come up from Central Bank, and this will reduce the OTP-related frauds by almost 90 to 95% easily.
Ravi has really detailed out the entire process. And Ravikiran, my next question is that, since you spoke about a lot of new things coming in, how are people going to adapt to the entire new processes? Because so far it's quick for them. Maybe it would have taken them some time to adapt to the OTP system. Now from OTP, we're coming on to yet another new system. So now how are people going to take the entire thing in their stride?
You're right. I mean, as I was telling you initially, right? Customer behavior change. It will take some time. And there are banks who have been propagating facial recognition from a long time, saying that either click here for facial recognition approval or click here for OTP, SMS OTP. So there are customers who are using that right now, the facial recognition part, and skipping the OTP. And there are customers who still prefer the SMS OTP point. Now, but with this mandate, SMS are going to be phased out. So there is no other go but for the customer but to go the other app-based route or the biometric route. So it will take some time, and there will be a little bit of resistance to change. That's what happens in the customers. So there will be the graph will be rising slowly, but then the particular stage will actually rise up. So and we will end up having this like 100% of customers were using OTPs for secure transactions. We will end up having 100% of the same customers using non-OTP based transactions.
I want to ask you, where is your foresight taking you in explaining the entire change in the cybersecurity landscape?
See, cybersecurity, that area is one of the most interesting, ever-changing place. You can never be. No bank can tell that we are 100% secure. No bank has got that gumption to tell that, and then no bank will say that because always there is a scope for something going wrong in the cybersecurity part. So, for example, this OTPs thing. The OTP was at one time touted to be the most secure process for an online transaction. So OTP, if you don't get the OTP, means you cannot do a transaction. So it was touted as one of the most secure things. Now we have fraudsters. Thanks to the fraudsters, there was this innovation coming through in the security side. So now with this in-app security or in-app approval process for transactions, I see that this will continue for quite some time, and fraudsters use AI to break into even voice biometric and also into facial recognition. It will take some time, and by the time that comes, there must be other methods to mitigate those risks also.
Do you see any cost burdens on the customers because of new technology coming in to keep them secure?
See, as of now, at least in the UAE, no bank has passed on any cost to a customer, be it for SMS banking or be it for OTPs or be it for even biometric authentication. So none of the costs go to the customer. I mean, in UAE, no bank has passed on any of the costs, even 1 dirham per month for security. No, it is entirely borne by the banks. And Central Bank has mandated this. Central Bank, we have got a very fantastic governing model thanks to Central Bank, and so they send out directives on this what you have to do, and the banks are moneyed enough to get into the best kind of securities possible for the customer, and all the costs are borne by the bank. Customer need not bear any cost. He has to only customer he or she has to just get used to this change and adapt the new technologies that the bank is providing just to be more secure.
Is there anything similar going on worldwide?
UAE is on the kind of cutting edge of technology, I would say. The Asian market, Singapore, they're also quite up ahead in the curve. But the UAE, whatever is happening from the banking side, technology side, it's among the best. So I would, there's nothing more to add.
And talking about artificial intelligence now, how are banks going to adapt to the processes going the artificial intelligence way?
See, AI is touching every aspect of all areas of all industries, including banks, right? So you have AI getting into your contact center, you have AI chatbots answering your questions. So use of artificial intelligence in security is already there from a long time. I mean, you call it data analytics based security, or you call it risk based authentication. All that is actually taking into consideration over 500 parameters: where you are logging in from, where is your location of where you are standing when you're opening the app, and what time of the day you're opening the app, what IP address are you on, and what is the amount you want to transact, who is the beneficiary you are trying to send the money to. These are all the basic. Removing all this, you have an AI model made where the AI model comes out with, you know what, we will never do this transaction frequently, but his rate is never shut. So send him in that notification for you. Or he's already sent this yesterday and it looks like this is a house payment on a monthly basis. So just allow it without any. This intelligence comes in as the usage goes on, right? So it is recognized regular payments going on, recognize what sort of fund transfers are, and it becomes confining the AI campaign on your back. So he knows what has to be sent when it will make it more secure.
So, Ravikiran, as an ex-banker and somebody who was into digital innovations, what is your short and sweet message to the customers who are using a lot of banks to keep their money safe, to keep the transaction safe and all that? Very briefly, what would you like to explain to them?
I'm helpful this. This is I would request all the customers. No, I would request everybody to be careful in what they're doing more. Do not share too much information that is not required. Do not share confidential details based on an email that you get. Take everything with a pinch of salt. It's the only thing I can say. When digital banking for dummies. Then what? No, I would think. If I would write a book, I would write a book on scheme banking for dummies. Then what to do? What market? Simple things like good for us. But you're one. We had this Nigerian prince scam 15 years ago. We get an email saying that I am a Nigerian prince and I have his money. Send me money. Don't fall for the current Nigerian prince scams. And just be careful and do what your bank says. Each bank has got the interest of the customer in mind. So the bank will tell you that who is the one always. Most like the way to do it. Here's the way.
Ravikiran, I had an amazing time talking to you on the entire subject of the OTP model being phased out and the new technologies being brought in favor of the customers to increase their experience of banking altogether. Ravikiran, ex-banker, worked extensively in the digital banking space and also into digital innovation. He spoke very much in very big detail about the entire process. Now, this was meant also for raising awareness in the masses about the new model which the central bank is going to bring in for enhancing the customer experience in the banks spread across the UAE. Thank you so much, Ravi Kiran, once again from MoneyPetrol. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.